Hello, my name is Coach Owings. I'm at Frisco High School. Today we're going to talk about box plots and outliers. We're going to use page 14, lesson 2.5, how many concerts have you been to? So earlier on in the year, you took a survey and filled out how many concerts you've been to. Thanks for doing that. We had about 500 responses. We were able to use that data. With all the data, I did find that somebody had been to 756 concerts. That's awesome. However, you are an outlier. So in order to make our graph look okay, I kind of removed you from the data. Apologies. I was able to type you into Staplet.com. So I had all the data on an Excel sheet. I just copied all the numbers and pasted it right here into raw data, hit begin analysis, and it was able to graph for me. This is a dot plot. And if you look right above my head, you can see that N is how many people answered. So we had about 511, 512 with that one person. You see what the mean's about 3.5 concerts. The standard deviation is about 5 concerts. And it does a 5-number summary for us, which is kind of awesome. We'll use that to check our work later on. Min, Q1, median, Q3, and the maximum. The notes did say to throw out all the zeros, and that made our numbers a little bit better. I have them all here without any of the zeros, and I changed the graph to a histogram. You can change the graph here. Dot plot, histogram, box plot, that's what we're going to look at. Stem plot you've also seen so far. And you can see that the standard deviation got a little bit bigger, the mean got a little bit bigger because, we did get rid of all the zeros, so that would push the mean up. We're up to about 300, or down to about 383 people responding now. However, I didn't want to kind of go through and show you how to do median, Q1, Q3, all that with all 300 pieces of data. So I used random integer and selected 10 random suggestions. I think I had to get an 11th because I might have chosen a 0. And these were the numbers that ended up being part of what we're going to use for our data. So I'm using Cami here, and I'm able to write down our class data. I believe was 8. And then I want to say it was 19, 5 and 2, 5 and 2. And then we had 3, 1, 1, 10, 5, 10, 3, 1, 1, 10, 5, 10. So that's the data we're going to use for right here. We're going to list below number 2 in order from least to greatest. So it looks like we have a 1, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5, a 5. 8, a 10, a 10, and a 19. That looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 numbers. Awesome. Good job by us. We can quickly figure out that the minimum is 1. The maximum is 19. And then we can talk about our median. So we're going to come at the median from both sides. It looks like we have 5 on the left side and 5 on the right side. So our median is going to be right in the middle, the average of those two numbers. So our median is going to be 5. And then while looking at those top halves and bottom halves, while looking at the top half and the bottom half, we're going to split it right down where the median is. And you can see we have 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, giving us our Q1 is 2. And then the same thing with the top half, we got 2 and 2, leaving us 10 right in the middle. So for our Q1, we have 2, and our Q3, we have 10. So there's our 5-number summary. So in part 3, we're going to start finding the new stuff. We're going to start finding outliers using the IQR. So in order to do that, we need to find the IQR. So remember the IQR is going to be Q3 minus Q1. So that's going to be 10 minus 2. So we'll type in there 10 minus 2, and that will give us an IQR of 8. So we have a little formula here in 3b that says calculate this number here, Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. So our Q1 is 2, and we're subtract from that 1.5 times the IQR that we just found right above of 8. So we'll do 2 minus, and then 1.5 times 8 is going to give us 12, which gives us negative 10. So any number less than that is a low outlier. And so do we have any numbers less than negative 10? No, our lowest number is 1. So we are okay there. We have no low outliers. No low outliers. We have no values less than negative 10. Let's look on the high side. So we're going to take Q3, our Q3 is 10. we're going to add to it that same value, that same 1.5 times the IQR, which was 8. So that'll be 10. That'll be 10 plus 12, which is 22. So we look to see, are there any values that are above 22? Nope, our highest is 19. So we say no high outliers. We have no values greater than 22. Now we're going to make a box plot of our data. So I'm going to try and insert a line. Awesome. Look at that beautiful line. We're going to make sure we have outside of our data, so we can go from 0, 5, 10, 15, all the way to 20. Make sure they're about approximately evenly spaced. And we're going to put dots where our 5-number summary is. So we're going to put a minimum of 1, Q1 is 2, our median is 5, our Q3 is 10, and our maximum is 19. What we're going to do is we're going to draw vertical lines through each of the 5-number summary. We're going to connect the middle 3, Q1 to Q3, including the median, connect that with a box, and then draw whiskers between the dots from the min to Q1 and from Q3 to the max. So I like seeing this because you can visually see that here's 25% of our data in between our min and Q1. 25% of our data is between Q1 and the median. 25% of our data is between our median and Q3, and 25% of our data is between Q3 and the max. The nice thing about Staplet is that it finds 5-number summary for us. There's the same 5 numbers that we found. We have a dot plot there, and we can go to a box plot, and that pretty much looks exactly the same as what we just drew. So good job by us. If we did have any outliers, for example, here we are on just with the 383 data points that we had. If you notice Q1 and Q3, 2 to 5, that gives us an IQR of 3. So if I'm looking to see if this 41, if this max is actually an outlier, I would take Q3, 5, and I would add it to 1.5 times the IQR, which we said was 3. So 1.5 times 3 gives us 4.5. 5 plus 4.5 is 9. So basically any value above 9 would be an outlier, which kind of makes sense. There's not a lot of us that have gone to more than 9.5 concerts. And if we look at the box plot here, all those values above 9, so 10, 11, 12, etc., all of those are little dots showing that they are outliers. Now we've looked at outliers using the IQR and box and whisker plots or box plots, and I hope you've learned a lot.